again with another video, y'all. Bad News Brown breaking it down. I'll tell y'all one thing. Everything is not as it seems. It's always something more to it. I will say that much. And I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine. Shout out Big Dog. And we was going back and forth. Regarding the recent incident with Charlie Kirk and where it possibly could have came from. Because of course I know they got an alleged shooter, but us, as what many people believe, there's something else involved. Another person or entity, is something more to it. But ain't just him. As we talk and see, my boy, my guy, I kind of figure him as like most of us is like newfound, I ain't gonna say, I'm jokingly saying this, newfound Republicans, to where now it's like we waking up, because traditionally we just been taught to be a Democrat, and Democrats ain't been doing nothing, as we know, for us, and a lot of us are starting to swing that way to the right in terms of that, financial issues and just other issues that they don't agree with, social issues, not just necessarily political or financial, but social issues. So a lot of us are looking that way, and not totally. This is what I'm saying, because me, as it come to it, certain issues, as I mentioned, I'm conservative on, certain ones I'm liberal on. What's the word for it? Bipartisan. I think that's the word for it. If anything, if we're gonna play that game, call me that. But anyway. So, with that being said, I don't necessarily have a dog in the fight, because on some issues I'm going to agree with that party, and some I'm going to agree with that, and disagree vice versa. So, anyway, and this is what I'm saying as far as there's a lot more to it, y'all. So now as we talking and stuff, we first run off the possibilities who possibly could have been responsible. We saying what we hear, what everybody hear. Could it be Israel? Nah, Iran. We going all over place. And I'm like, man, could have been in-house. He like, and then it's the left. I'm like, man, no, you can't say, because the left, just like the right, is not one just big entity. They got different parts. So you like the far left, I'm like, yeah, that, but then there's still a lot more to it, you know what I'm saying? And then we talk a little bit about as far as the history, as far as the 60s, when a lot of the black vote turned left, and what the left traditionally stood for, and how now it seems like the left is on some other stuff. So now blacks are starting to move right. And we went from the 60s junction, because we also argued, not even argued, but mentioned that before, of course, a lot of blacks were Republican. But anyway, so now we go back and we come back to now, when we eventually, I throw out the notion like, well, look, because he jokingly say to me like, man, you the race guy, black and white. He tell, man, it ain't all about race. It's about the values, and I agree to a very good extent. Yeah, it ain't about race, because the money took over everything. So we start talking. Then hold on, we dropped a lot of good points. But then I hit him with, that's what the fight is about, man. The money and the power. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of who gets what or whatever. And that's what he mentioned, like a possible civil war. That's exactly what he mentioned. Then I went and I said, it is a quiet one. Technically, that could be that, because you definitely, and I mentioned how traditionally I done seen white boys hit each other up. How we hit each other up, I guess, with hood or gang affiliation. A lot of them seen them, and not even just necessarily in jail or just in places. I didn't seen it with my own eyes. Them hit each other up, kind of like if this was the Civil War, basically what side you would have been on. So I'm telling him like, yeah, I done seen them hit each other up. So basically, I'll say that to say it's definitely they will kill too, basically, because we used to the propaganda. We just usually seeing brothers killing brothers. The thought of a white person killing a white person, other than some mass, and y'all get what I'm saying, which is on something else. You usually just don't see that. It's very uncommon on some tough guy stuff, so to speak. So when things like that start happening, it's hard to believe for a lot of us. But But as I said, I still hear white folk occasionally hit each other up like that. So a lot of this is still relevant because this is, as a matter of fact, and we came to that conclusion because he was speaking on, oh man, this is old wars. They got something to do with the left days. I'm like, no, man, I don't think that's them. But who knows though? We got so many possibilities, possibly. But again, just stick with me, y'all. So, and that's how, once he started mentioning that, that's when I started saying, okay, well, by that rationale, being it this is old stuff, would it be safe to say the Democratic Party is the North and the Republican Party is the South? And this is primarily due to, and this is why I'm saying that in this conversation we having, is because he was sort of like, yeah, the left, and he started naming basically notable billionaire guys that's on the left. We just on possibilities, and I'm like, possibly, I don't think. So that's why I was liking that to the Money Boys as far as it being the North. Now, the South is the Republican Party because, well, for the longest, as we know, the Republicans been anti-black for the people, or anti-poor, basically. It's the rich, basically. The rich slave owners, so to speak. And although they got good Christian values, they still don't give a fuck about your black ass. And this is where a lot of the people, especially us, it's starting to look towards the Republican Party. Plantation analogy, but just on the good Christian value, because the left is going too left on certain things that people don't agree with. Now, although most of us don't really care about nobody's personal business or preference or whatever they do, there's still certain stuff across the board above the table we ain't going to upset, and we ain't going to put it out there like that. I'm just going to leave it as that. So, I deliver this. So, because as we know, it appeared that a lot of rich, super wealthy definitely don't give a fuck about the poor, and most of us is poor, so damn sure don't give a damn about us. But that's been the narrative. Again, I'm just generalizing. We just having some going back and forth general conversation. Just process what I said, what I just threw out there, as far as the Democratic Party being associated with the North and the Republican Party being associated with the South. And while, of course, you can agree with certain principles of the North Democrat when it comes to supposedly help the people, the poor, the underdog, the struggling, but you also can agree with the preconceived so-called pro-family values, traditional family values of the South, the Republican Party. And as I think about it, even when it comes to ownership, although their form of ownership was definitely not what I'm talking about, and I'm not taking that lightly as far as owning slaves and people, but in plantations, but as far as ownership, you understand, where the North, Democrat, and again, it's just an analogy, and I can also probably flip it. Maybe that'll be in my next video. But think about this, y'all. I dropped that on him, and he like, damn, he paused. I ain't saying, but it's like, you can't really say it ain't. Even though you can't really, basically can't say it is, but you definitely can't say it ain't like that. And it's just something y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think by that notion I just dropped. Now, do I fully believe that, or am I pressing to say that? Like, is that my declaration statement? Nah, but I'm probably the first that just threw that out there, so I'm going to definitely take credit for that. As far as do I just believe and just ready to roll with that like that. But as I talked and just drew out the similarities, and they're like, but do I necessarily think that? Nah, not right now. I think it's, of course, is a little bit more bipartisan, but as I would like to think, and really the whole purpose of this video, because it's more to that conversation that I won't mention verbatim. This is regarding the whole incident at hand, Kirk, but nothing is as it seems. And if I was you, I would just recommend you not to talk bad about him, regardless of what he said, them sound bites. And this is me saying bad news Brown stand for. So Don't be too quick for whatever reason you feel. Don't be too quick. And also, don't be too quick to be pro that gentleman. Or just, as if you ain't that, it's that. Don't be that. Don't speak ill. Don't speak good unless you got a personal experience or unless you agree with some of his views, which that can definitely get misconstrued. You know what I'm saying? Especially in light of certain new information that I done got dropped on my desk, so to speak. Things ain't what it appear, y'all. I'm gonna keep it 1,000 all the way with y'all. Now, I don't know what's going on. Things ain't what as it appear. I don't even want to know what's going on like that to that extent, because I don't have to know that specific. I can generalize when it comes to dealing with the Matrix. But as far as this incident thing at the end, it just ain't all, I don't know. To whom or what and why. The whom, the what, and the why. Them questions ain't just so easily answerable as one would appear, even when you think you going down a rabbit hole. Straight up. You know, when you think you know everything, you know nothing. Best believe. Everything ain't what it seems, y'all. I wish I could drop a little more on y'all concerning that as to really show you why, but I can't. Because I can't. But I know what I know. And I know everything ain't what it seems. That's what I do know. I don't know the exact. I ain't telling y'all that. But I do know everything ain't what it seems. Just believe that. It ain't who you think or what, to whom, what, and why. Like I said, it's not questions so easily answerable as one would think, even when you think you're going down a rabbit hole. Or even pointing the finger, however you want to call it. I'll say that, man. And that just... And I'll say this to add on. There's a lot more to it. Not even just in his situation. There's a whole lot more. Regarding everything else. There's a whole lot more. I'm going to put a disclaimer. But again, as I said, but there are certain facts out there regarding life and people and social, so let's not get it twisted. And I'm not trying to say the Matrix or whatever you want to call it, whoever your evil guy is omnipotent, can't make mistakes or don't got weaknesses or can't be, nah, I ain't saying it like that, or flawless, and that ain't what I'm saying. But certain things is just what it is. It ain't no conspiracy, no rabbit hole behind it. Although we can be a lot of other speculation. Certain shit is just, hey, sometimes shit does happen. But a lot of times, everything ain't what it seems. That's all I can say, man. So, y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Definitely leave a comment regarding everything I said. Chop and screw if it's something specific you want to speak on or ask me. Definitely. And let me know what y'all think. Don't forget to tell them where you got it from, man. Bad News Brown, breaking it down.